everyone, welcome back to my vlog. I'm Robin, or A Hobbit's Reading List, and this week we are completely changing our mindset. We are getting out of the reading slump, and technically this is the day that I just ended the last vlog. I'm starting this vlog, and I've already finished a new book, so let's go. So I finished reading The Body Keeps the Score around 5-ish today. My thoughts on that book are in my last vlog. I did some editing, my eyes are starting to hurt, so I switched over to reading because I figured switching screens would be enough, because that's logical. I read Matzo in one sitting. Pretty much. I took a small break to eat dinner, and then I finished the rest of it. So I will say I enjoyed it a lot more than the last Roz Alexander novella I read. And again, my only issue is that the setup didn't make sense. It didn't make sense as a second chance romance. But this one, they're complete strangers, so the instant connection, and how it all develops makes a lot more sense, especially because it's actually spread out over a week while they celebrate Passover. And so it's about Samantha and Jordan, and they're both recovering from breakups, actually. And Samantha's best friend, Virginia, sort of meets Jordan and arranges for Jordan to come to Samantha's Seder on the first night of Passover. And sparks are just flying. And it's really good. I also really liked a lot of the sort of like close encounters before we actually got to the steamy stuff. So it's only like 140 pages on Kindle. I don't even know if it's that many if you were to have it in paperback or something. I have it on Kindle. But it's really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. There were just some like little things, but obviously not enough to really bother me. I think I will definitely read it again, probably next Passover, because I'm very thematic. So yeah, I am really glad that I was able to do that. I'm gonna ask Siri what book I should read next, and I can already feel the wind is changing, the slump is over, and it's gonna stay that way. Because if I'm in another slump for a month, then I will be very, very upset. So I just wanted to check in and say that real quick. It's now like 10 o'clock at night. I'm gonna get ready for bed, and I will talk to you tomorrow with what book Siri told me to read. Good night. So really quick check-in, because I was just thinking about it and I didn't want to forget. I started Wolfsong this morning. I read about like, I think 80-ish pages. I don't know the exact amount, but I definitely know I passed the 80-page mark. I'm obsessed with it. Who knew? I knew. Other than that, I've listened to about 2 hours of Suddenly Wicked This Way Comes. I am not going to listen to it on my way home tonight. I think it's the narrator's voice. It's sort of putting me to sleep. Not because it's not interesting. It is really interesting. And I think especially as the plot picks up, like I will probably be too scared to like doze. But I think there's something in the narrator's voice, in like his cadence, that is very lulling. And I'm listening to it while I drive. And I don't want to be like micro sleeping as I'm driving home from work after a day of working, so I'm not gonna listen to it tonight. I'm hoping that like Friday, because I'm working more in the day, it'll be better, but we'll see. I might just have to shift to reading it physically, which will really get in the way of like other plans. So I just wanted to just sort of pop on and say that I will probably read more of Wolfsong tomorrow, because I'm really enjoying it. I've been thinking about it like on and off all day. I'm really interested in it. So I will give you more thoughts then. Okay, once again, this is gonna be very rushed because now I have to go to work, but I spent most of yesterday reading. Like, I had other stuff that I had to do and that I accomplished some of it, but I pretty much, like, total probably spent about like 4 to 5 hours reading Wolfsong. I'm almost done. I have less than 100 pages. Feel really good about it. I'm really enjoying it, and quite honestly, like, I am going through a thing which, like, happens with series that I end up, like, really enjoying, is that I just immediately want to go to the sequel. But I obviously can't do that because I have other books I need to read this month. So, and plus, I think it's going to be really hard for me to find the sequel because the version that I have is out of print, and I think it's being, like, republished with, like, a different publisher. I think I could be wrong. But no matter what, the next book in the series, Ravensong, in the version that is, like, on Amazon and, like, Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that, it doesn't come out till August. So, and it's not on Pango Books. So I honestly don't know, short of reading it on Kindle, how I would even get the sequel before August. Which really sucks because I'm really into it and I really want to see what happens with these characters. I will say the alpha, beta, omega dynamic is different than what I have read in fan fiction, which is not bad. I'm actually enjoying it. It just took a little bit for me to, like, actually realize, like, oh, this is not how it is in fanfic, which is totally fine. But yeah, it's just like, oh, a little disappointing, but I still really like the way that TJ Klune writes it. I really love the whole pack dynamic. I think that he does a really great job capturing the emotions throughout the story. Like, he does a really great job. And which is not surprising. Like, the other book of his that I've read, The House on the Cerulean Sea, like, was so emotion heavy, but, like, not in a bad way at all. It was actually very nice and cozy and comforting. This is a different vein of that. Wouldn't say it's cozy, but it is comforting in its own way, considering the plot. So yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. I will probably finish it tonight, quite honestly, and then I will probably pick up, what's it called, Mike and Psmith tomorrow, because I could ask Siri what I should read next, but I have a feeling that if I don't read Mike and Psmith soon, my dad might actually kill me because we need to film the next episode of the podcast. I need to finish editing the last episode of the podcast. So, sorry, Dad. Love you. But I will probably pick that up tomorrow because I'm also getting my hair redone because you can't really, like, it's only lightly green. It looks more blonde than anything, which I don't think I pull off blonde as well as I do, other colors. So, but yeah, that's the plan. I will check in with you guys later, give you my rating for Wolfsong. I'd be very surprised if it's not a 5-star. I'd be shocked, quite honestly, if it wasn't a 5-star. So, we'll see. Ta-da! So, I got my hair touched up, as I mentioned, and as predicted, Wolfsong is a 5-star. I finished it this morning because last night I was just, like, super tired, and I actually didn't end up falling asleep this morning until 4 a.m. because I was just so hot. So that was fun, but I finished it this morning. I just really liked it, and I think I mentioned this before, but when I get really into a series, then I just immediately want to pick up the next one, which is how series works. But like I said, I don't think I'll be able to find the next book until it's republished in August, which sucks. And, like, I'm pretty sure it's on audiobook and I could listen to it, but it's not the same. I don't like mixing media when I've in a series, like, because I've read this in print, I'm gonna want to continue reading it in print because I have the characters' voices in my head now, whereas with audio I feel like it's not going to match, and it's going to just upset me, because that happened a couple months ago. When I was trying to listen to A Marvelous Light, when I had originally read it, didn't work. So yeah, so we'll see when I can read the sequel, but I really liked Wolfsong. I thought that Ox and Joe's relationship was very, like, realistically done, for all that it's a fantasy book about werewolves. Like, just the emotions there, I thought were really well written. Like, TJ Klune is wonderful at writing out emotions and how visceral they are, especially for werewolves who would, feel emotions that much more strongly. So like I said, like, I just really liked it. My only complaint, which isn't really a complaint, it's just me, is I wish there was more smut. There was like 1.5 smut scenes, and I find that disappointing. I find that really disappointing. Not enough to impact the score, obviously, because it was still really good, but it was so good that I wanted more. I wanted more interactions between Ox and Joe outside of the plot, and then them just being, fluffy and sexy. Like, I wanted more of that. So, but I am fairly certain there are some more smut scenes in Ravensong. I know there's actually very little in, what is it? What's the third one? Heartsong? Because, so every book in the series is from a different perspective within the pack. And it's about them, finding their mates and stuff like that. So I know Ravensong, I know the main couple there. I know the main couples for all of them, quite honestly, because I don't mind spoilers. If anything, like, I already know that I like Wolfsong, and so the spoilers just made me more excited to read it. So I know Heartsong, one of the perspectives is asexual, so I know there won't be any smut scenes in that, but that will make sense. Like, that'll make a lot of sense to me. But in Wolfsong, like, the attraction and the sexual tension was so strong throughout so much of the book that I'm like, there needs to be more. So it's fine. Bothers me a little bit, but like I said, it's 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Want to read the sequel. When I was getting my hair done, I did read a chapter of Mike and Psmith, and it was fine. It was a chapter, a chapter and a half, I guess. But Mike has been removed from Riken because his grades suck, because he only cares about cricket, and he is going to a new school. His name I already forgot. Smed something. I don't know. But I'm assuming where I left off in the second chapter is when he's meeting Smith. So I'll pick that up, again, probably today. I need to really pick up reading. I need to edit the podcast. Yeah, I need to do a lot. So that's sort of the plan. I don't know what I'm going to do about Something Wicked This Way Comes. My personal trainer thinks that my tiredness when just throughout the day, like I said, last night I was exhausted. I took a nap, which I never do, and thus could not sleep until 4 a.m. this morning. But he thinks that my tiredness is a symptom of, like, sort of like stomach virus that I'm going through, which I'm hoping is the case, because I only listened to like 30 minutes of Something Wicked This Way Comes yesterday. So this book was supposed to take me literally like 4 days, and it's already, like, I'm gonna be reading it, listening to it next week. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's interesting. I think that's all I can say about it. Like, so for people who don't know, Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's about 2 kids. They are almost 15, like literally like a week away from turning either 14 or 15. I think it's 15. They're best friends, they're neighbors. They were literally born like 2 minutes apart. It's Joe and Will, I think. And there's this carnival that comes,
and they're exploring it. Like that's all that's sunk in. And like there's some freaky stuff happening. Like it's semi horror. It's very, to me, it's very Stephen King-esque, which is not a bad thing, but it is impacting my ability to focus a bit. So I really think I might have to switch over to physical because I think that might be easier. So I don't know. We'll see. I need to finish Mike and Psmith first, and then I'll sort of decide if I'm going to switch over because I want to finish it. I don't want to DNF, and I feel like just because the audiobook is not necessarily working for me doesn't necessarily mean that I need to DNF it. I could very well really enjoy the book and just the narrator isn't working. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated about that. We'll see how I do listening to it tomorrow. But that's all the reading updates for now. So I will check in with you guys later. Hello everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this vlog up because I am quite frankly exhausted. I've been really struggling this week with exhaustion, for lack of a better word, because I don't know why. Last night I got like 9 hours of sleep, so I don't serious. I don't know why I'm so tired. I know I've mentioned it a couple times this week. It seems like my tiredness really gets me on the days that I work, and particularly this week when I was driving to work and listening to Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I don't know if it's because of the book. I don't think it is, quite honestly. I really don't think it is. I've been just as tired on, you know, the days that I had off. It just wasn't so predictable. But I could pretty much, like, I could almost time it on my drive now of, like, after about 35 minutes, I start getting sort of, like, naughty and a little, like, micro-sleeping. So that's usually when I stop listening to the, to the audiobook and switch over to music to keep me awake. So I did listen to more of Something Wicked This Way Comes. I want to say, because I listened on my way to work and then for a little bit on my drive home, I want to say, like, maybe another, like, hour and a half of it. So I'm about, I think, like 45% through. I still think I will switch over to the physical book once I finish reading. I feel like that was unnecessary. He just jumped in from my face and went to the window. I feel like that was really unnecessary, buddy. What was I even saying? I think it was something like, I think I'm like 45% through. Oh, yeah, I probably will still switch to the physical book once I finish reading Mike and Psmith, because I really need to finish that. But it's really hard because the knowledge that, like, it's sort of putting me to sleep. I was talking to my dad about it. I think it's a combination of the narrator, like I guessed, but also my dad pointed out that Ray Bradbury, his writing is very, like, flowy, and I said lulling, which I think is accurate. And so it's really hard to give you, like, an idea of how much I like the book because I'm really struggling with it right now. I really am, which sucks because I really thought I was actually gonna like it. And not that I don't. I do like it. I like the concept, but I just think I'll like it more once I switch over to the physical book. And the only reason I haven't is because I know that if I make the switch now, I'll just procrastinate reading Mike and Psmith even more. And again, not that I think I won't like Mike and Psmith. By, you know, my dad's judgment, I will probably like it more than I liked Micah Reichen, which will not be hard. But yeah, it sort of sucks that, like, I had 2 books this week that, like, hey, I finished 2 books and they were both really good. And now I'm in another period where the books that I'm reading, I'm not super excited about. I do like them so far. I don't want it to seem like I don't. But anyway, okay, so at Something Wicked This Way Comes, they've discovered the carnival, and Jim, crap. Jim. I'm 80% certain. Maybe 60. Where did I get Joe from? Oh, I got Joe from Wolfsong. Okay, I think it's Jim. Woo, yeah, it's Jim, which I should know because Will said Jim's name so many times during, like, the time that I listened to it today. Like, I think the other issue, the one thing I will say I don't like about Something Wicked This Way Gone, which is not the book, the narrator's voice for when Will has dialogue is so annoying. I'm like, okay, this kid is 13 going on 14. Like, the narrator makes him sound like he's like 6 years old. It's so weird because when the narrator is just reading, no dialogue, his voice is totally fine. And even when he reads Jim, it's like deeper. So I'm just like, what do you have against Will? Why do you make him sound like literally a toddler? Like, what is happening? But they discover the carnival. Jim is being weird. Like, he doesn't seem to have an issue with the carnival, and he like wants to go on the carousel, which like is problematic. I don't want to give anything away, so I'm just saying it's problematic to go on the carousel. Will stopped him from doing it. They got into a wrestling match, and then they got accused of stealing from their teacher. It's a wild ride. Like, there's a lot going on, and that's why I'm like, it has to be something else that is putting me to sleep, because this is actually like very like, it's a very exciting book. Like, there's a lot going on, and I do want to figure out like what is happening. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, Jim just had a really nice sort of like bonding moment with his dad, which I really enjoyed. And I'm officially in the second part of the novel, so I will hopefully, knock on wood, finish it next week, because I still have like I think 2 other books that I could listen to on audio from my April TBR. I was gonna try to listen / reread When the Angels Left the Old Country, because I have book club for that in 1 week. And because of that, I'm probably not going to. So I'm probably going to pull all the book club questions out of my head. So, yeah, I think that's it. I know this was really rambly, but it's just because I'm so tired. And hopefully next week will be better. I really hope so. Because, like, I'm excited that I read 2 really good books. That was really nice. And Passover was pretty good. And looking at it, I had a good week. But I was just so tired for most of it, and that's really bothering me, because I'm not usually that tired, not in the spring. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this vlog up. Comment if you've read any of the books, if you want to read any of the books, if you want to talk about any of the books, if you want to suggest a book for me to read, go for it. I read all the comments. I like interacting with people there. Like the video, subscribe, and I will check you guys in the next vlog. Bye!